when Sadie and I met, when was it? It was what, 4 or 5 months ago, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were not in a good place. You were kind of struggling with school and you were having challenges and all that. So what were you going through and what was it like and what were you experiencing?
So I just started university and I was used to getting really, really high marks in high school because I was like working like 24/7 and just like pushing myself. And then I got to university and I was still trying to do that, but the marks like weren't coming because obviously university is a lot different and more challenging than high school is. So I was having a hard time adjusting and I just like felt like I was doing the work and I just couldn't get the results like every 2 months. Like I literally would work so hard that I couldn't do anything except for sleep for like 2 weeks. So it's helpful in like the short run, but it's not sustainable at all. And when you go into like the workforce and all that stuff, you can't just be doing that much. Like, and especially in high school, you can kind of get away with it because you're not in class that much. But university, you can be in class for like 10 hours a day. It's not possible to like then study for like 20 more hours. Like that, you have 24 hours a day. It's not, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's like for me, it was realizing that I can make my brain work like for me instead of trying to force my brain to work, if that makes sense. Like, and I was super stressed, very, very, very stressed. Because I'm like, my parents are paying all this money, like I need to pass my classes. I need to like I'm in engineering, this is gonna be difficult. So I was just really stressed and wanting to like do well, but
Yeah.
not really knowing how to like change how I'd been like doing school for the past like 12 years. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
in high school I was probably I think clocking in like at least 10 hours per week per subject. I was studying, like I was trying to reach 10 hours per subject and I had four, so that's 40 hours a week of studying is what I was trying to do in high school while working a job, while extracurriculars. And I was getting results. So I was like, okay, guess this is just how I have to do things. So it was really hard to kind of like change my mindset out of that, especially where I felt like I'm like the work is getting harder. What do you mean I have to like not be studying like 60 hours a week? Like I didn't really understand that. It's like a lot of the things I thought were gonna be on the exam ended up being on the exam, which you said was gonna happen. I didn't even I was like, how's that possible that I could tell how could I like predict what's gonna be on the exam? And then I did, which is crazy. So that's like it's really like reassuring. Obviously it's not like the goal, but like as soon as you start seeing results, it like just kind of like reinstates like that what you're doing is working. Yeah, I just feel like I'm in a lot better place now with school. I'm still stressed, but not to the same extent as before. And the one thing I feel like that helped me probably the most, other than the reviewing, is like my mental health. My friends, like sometimes they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I have so much work to do today," and I'll sit there. I'm like, "Oh, I actually don't have that much to do today because I've already done everything I need to do." Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you need to go in with a confident mindset, and I think that's like was the biggest change for me.
Yeah. So what kind of results are you getting now and what's happening?
Yeah, results wise, I'm doing a lot better. Like I'm getting more 80s and 90s, like more in the A range. And what I've really been happy with is like me going into a final and doing really well. So it like bumps my mark has also been really have like very exciting for me. But also I think it's like a thing that I'm feeling the best about is not just like the results I'm getting, but like I think my strategies are a lot different. Like I said, coding is not my strong suit at all. I just started doing it, but I feel like I have a lot more strategies that can make me like succeed in it instead of me freaking out and kind of being lost in something I don't really know. Like I have a lot of things I can implement to ensure that I do well, even if it's something I'm less confident in, which is like what I feel really good about because each course is going to be challenging in its own ways. And it's nice that I have like things that I can do to make it less challenging for me, no matter like what it is. Um, but now I think I'm a lot more confident in myself. Like I know that I'm smart and what we talked about is like you just have to communicate it. And before I thought like if I didn't communicate it well, it just meant that I wasn't smart, right?
Mm.
But now that's not the case. It's just how to communicate what you know. So that's what I've been working on. And yeah, I feel a lot better now. I feel more confident. I feel like I have a better idea of where I'm at in school. Like I can kind of tell what I need to work on or what I feel really confident in instead of kind of just thinking, I need to study everything at once right now. Instead of I can just like kind of focus and filter things that I want to spend more time on, which I wouldn't have been able to do before. And overall, I'm just more happy. I'm more excited to do things in school. Like,
Mm.
yeah, sometimes you don't want to do the work, but it feels good like when you understand what you're doing and you're not just feeling like you're behind all the time. Because that's how university feels like you're just behind all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember when I was in school and I was behind, I overheard somebody and say, well, that's just university. You're supposed to be behind. There's no way you can be ahead. But that's not true.
No, it's not. Because right now I'm ahead, if that's even possible.
And what were our sessions like when we used to meet every week? What were they like?
They're fun. I have a great time. Um, I liked having the progress sheet a lot because sometimes it's hard to pinpoint what's not working. Like if you just look at everything that's happened the whole week, like, and you can't figure out what it is that's kind of not working right now. So having the spreadsheet and having all the separate categories and like ranking yourself helps isolate the problem. And then we go through it together, which is really helpful because it's great if I can identify the problem, but it's always nice to have someone to tell me how to fix it. Specific I have questions for because I feel like I know way more than I did a few months ago, but even still, it's like nice. Like I was asking you, oh, I have like 3 tests on this day. And I was like, how am I gonna get through that? It's a heavy day. And that's something that I don't really know. Like old me would have like just died for the whole week trying to prepare for these 3 tests. But that's why I wanted to ask you because I know you have a different perspective on it. And the perspective was definitely more helpful to take rest and things like that. And also it's really nice to hear like the whole group because a lot of times sometimes there's a problem that's kind of a less problem for you or you haven't really thought about it, but for someone else it's what they want to talk about. So it's also really helpful because you're getting like other advice the whole time too. And it's always nice to have like discussion and kind of help each other out. Think about different solutions because each of us kind of work our own ways. And there's something that maybe I come up with that's different than what someone else has come up with that maybe could help someone in a different way. So yeah, I really enjoyed the session. This is pretty close in age and pretty close in grade level too. So it's always nice like if I can help someone who's in grade 12 because I've been there. I lived through it. Like
Yeah.
uni is stressful, applications are stressful, and it's nice like to have someone who just went through it to kind of help you because I still know that feeling. Like I know how last year was, or even having someone like that's like a year older than me is also really nice because they can kind of help me through first year and let me know that like first year engineering, guys, big surprise, a lot of people don't do well. It's okay. Like my mental health right now is so much better than it was. It could be the big improvement because that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that? Because that was pretty insane.
Pretty insane. What was your score in a percentage when we first met?
Was it like 60 maybe? It was pretty low, maybe 54 or something like that. It was low.
I think it was even lower. I think it was like 40 something.
At
I think what is it now?
94.
Yeah, yeah. So that's huge. Like that's
Yeah.
like almost like a 50% improvement across the board, right?
For me, once I got my mindset up, like everything else was so much easier. And once like my mental health started getting better, it was so much easier to implement everything else back in. Because instead of just being like, oh, why don't you understand this? Then I go, oh, well, maybe next time we're going to take a little bit more time on the preview so that when we go to the next class, then I know things a little bit better, which is already fixing the preview while also helping my mental health. Like it was, so that's for me. Like, I think, especially a lot of people I think that do this program are kind of like me that are like, I love school and I do so well at school and now I'm not doing well at school. That is kind of like a drill sergeant almost like a go this. But for me everything like unlocked once I like focused on this instead of just like the actual schoolwork. So that's what I think definitely made my improvement like skyrocket the most. That like this isn't something like obviously yeah, I'm in engineering, that's pretty specific, but this applies to like anything. Like no matter what job you have or if you're in school or whatever, like it applies like to everything, the way we decide to work and like our mindset will go away. But like being in a mindset where you have a routine and like you want to keep doing well, like that's what motivates me to do it. It's not even like I'm motivated by a mark. Like I said, like I'm motivated because I want to do it because I feel good and I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And like I said, that can apply to anything in life. Like I don't think farmers wake up most days, oh, I want to get up at 5 a.m. No one wants to get up at 5 a.m. But like if you are feeling good and you know by waking up at 5 a.m. you get to feed your family, okay, you're gonna wake up at 5 a.m. It's the same thing. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's good because you said something really interesting because most people are going to do it, go to school because they want the grades. Everybody wants the grades. But you've kind of like reduced your attachment to the grade. And because you realize that that's not what it's about. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, anything else you want to say?
I said a lot.